Hey guys, John Carpenter here. I am here with Chris, and I'm going to butcher his last name, so I'll let him say it from Iridescent Hotels. Christopher, thank you so much.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here, and it's Puntarelli.
There we
Puntarelli.
go. I didn't want to do it on live, so, but I do appreciate it. So, I know we've talked in the past about a few different things, and you actually, you came through the pandemic. So, did you end up losing your job in the pandemic, or what happened when it started?
No, so I was actually working for a company, GF Hotels and Resorts, and
Okay.
I was a regional director of operations.
Yep.
And at the time, decided it was actually right before the pandemic. It was in February. I had a
Mhm.
heart to heart with the owner, Mr. Ken Kochenauer, great man. And he had basically said, "Look, if you want to go off on your own, I want to bless you, And so I went ahead and went off on my own, and we didn't expect pandemic to hit, and
Right.
pandemic hits, and you start turning and burning, And so we actually first started doing task force, and we started doing recruiting, and we were doing IT and consulting, and then as we started coming out a little bit, in the beginning of 2020, I was blessed with the opportunity to start Iridescent Hotels with Ash Patel,
Hmm.
who also owns Southwest Hospitality,
Okay.
and my business partner, Raj Chauhan, who we met at Newcrest Image,
Hmm.
and started getting rolling. In February we lucked out and picked up a Hyatt place. I have to give a little shout out to Mike Carroll, who I worked with at Newcrest Image a lot for at Hyatt, and he got us certified to be Hyatt Place approved and or Hyatt approved, and
Yeah.
that's where we started our run.
Nice. And how fast has that gone? I mean, it looks like when you look at the website, you guys have quite a few now, right?
Yeah, we do. We've got 11 through Southwest Hospitality, and then we've pulled another four. We've got another 3 to 6 right now that we're currently working on.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, we're not one of those big boys that we pull 27 hotels at one time or 40 hotels here. I mean, we're more a little bit more intimate with our owners, and we really are like that blue collar, and we dig in. There's not many chief operating officers that really act like regionals and visit properties weekly, and
Right.
so we're very hands on. Especially, we only have 15 properties. Again, we've got 3 to 6 in the pocket, but we want to make sure that our owners know that we're there for their best interest, and we get involved.
That's good. And so, what was it like to kind of transition some of these hotels during the pandemic, right? Like it's got to be tough because even though we feel like we're out of 2020, and of course we are, we're still kind of in this pandemic, right? And so there's so many issues that are hitting everybody. What was it like to kind of transition some of these hotels?
It was a little difficult, labor market. You jump in these hotels, and of course, a lot of the ownership when you get into them,
Hmm.
we didn't do anything in receivership. It's been straight from previous owners,
Okay.
and a lot of them are running skeleton crews,
Right.
and so as you're coming in, you're trying to find ways to recruit good people, and you're trying to find ways to increase your sales, and we did a phenomenal job at the Hyatt Place in San Antonio. We were actually within 60-90 days, we hired a director of sales, that came through our pipeline, where we were doing recruiting prior,
Hmm.
to actually start near Iridescent. And so we pulled a DOS that had a lot of Hyatt Place experience. We started doing, what a lot of people don't like to do, so we had to think outside the box a little bit, and
Yep.
we've put in referral bonuses, we've put in small signing bonuses, and we make it progressive over 6 months, so ultimately, we hire somebody, we give them a $75, you know, um, almost like a bonus, which doesn't sound like a lot, but after 90 days, they get another $75. And after 180 days, they get it $150.
Right.
So it ends up being a $300 signing bonus, but it gets pushed over a 6 month period. And the same token, if an associate refers that person, they get a $75 referral bonus at the time they get hired, another
Gotcha.
75 after 3 months, and 150 after six. So they're both tied together, so you've got a teammate rooting for them to say, hey, we need to get better. Hey, we need to do this. Hey, we need to do this,
Yep.
because they want their money too, So
Yeah.
we've kind of made it a group thing, It's like you've got a mentor that's helping you, through the process, and it's worked out really well for us,
Hmm.
in our markets that we primarily are in, like in Texas. we're in San Antonio, we're in Houston, and we've done that, and it's worked out really well. We've got some properties in Arizona and California, and the market is a difficult market in labor, but we've been able to push through, and we've gotten the highest QAs that some of these properties have ever had. So we're trending in the right direction. It's taken outside thinking, but we're moving.
Yeah. And I do think it's funny because you hear a lot about signing bonuses and sign on
Mhm.
bonuses and all that stuff. And, it's here's $250 on your first check, but then they get that and it's like, are they going to stick
Right.
around? Right. So
Yep.
that prorated is really good. And then doing the referral proration's even better because, like you said, now there's time for people to buy into the culture. Right. And if there
Yep.
is a struggle or a problem, there's time to fix that struggle or a problem.
Right.
So,
Yep.
that's pretty brilliant. And I've actually seen, I had a post not too long ago. I've actually seen bonuses for people to stay. So retention bonuses so they don't leave, because that is the other thing, right? So while there's a million jobs or whatever open in the United States or
Yeah.
whatever, anybody can go anywhere if they wanted to. And, so you want to keep those people too. And I really think these kind of bonuses work, but I don't think throwing $10,000 at somebody's the key either.
No.
It's got to be a buy-in, right?
So we do something similar, right? With general managers, with directors of sales. When we first take over the property, we automatically give them a 5% increase if we're
Right.
keeping the DOS and the GM. And once they have that, we do 6-month reviews rather
Okay.
than an annual review. So after 6 months, we do a review, and based on the performance of the hotel, and we don't do it based off of the previous year. Really, we do it based off of the current trends.
Gotcha.
So last year, it's difficult. A lot of people are going to see positive increases.
Right.
So what we do is we take a look, and we look at the whole perspective. So we look at the revenue, we look at GOP. We hold our GMs accountable for the NOI.
Mhm.
And we also take a look at star reports. We look at GSS scores, and we look at QA. And if they're making the increases, then we increase anywhere from 3 to 5% every 6 months, and we do that for the next 2 years.
Nice.
Because the majority of our management contracts are 3 to 5 years, and so in that realm, the next 2 years, which we're thinking that the pandemic will hopefully flatten out or at least get back to where we're supposed to be going in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
So instead of doing annual increases, we're doing every 6 months because a lot of these people that once we get onto property took pay reductions because of COVID and
Right.
haven't been able to get back. So we try to get them back a little bit every 6 months for the next 2 years.
Gotcha.
So we've thrown that little thing in as well, and that's worked out pretty well.
And if they can see that and they know it really would hold them to it, right? Because I know
Mhm.
as a recruiter, and I've been doing this for almost 9 years, and I hear it quite a bit. I haven't had a raise in 3 years, and that was prior to COVID or whatever, and I
Mhm.
had to take a pay cut or whatever, which we all know people had to do, and we all had to do it at a
Mhm.
point. But if there's an incentive to say, hey, if I stick around and I know my numbers and I'm going to hit this, then I know I'm going to get these percentages over this amount of time, and it's not the annual because I
Mhm.
think annuals are fine, but I think people should look at more, kind of short notice things and kind of
Yeah.
keep them fresh. And I mean, look, they get tied into the numbers then at that point.
Yeah.
So
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, with ours, we do bonuses and our employees and we give them out monthly. So when we get the cash in, we get the bonus the next month. And so if we did it every quarter, every year, I'm not sure, if people are trying to, wait around because it is a tough business to do. And so you've done the recruiting piece, and you've done that and you've seen those markets and, what's the labor markets look like? I mean, everybody's complaining they can't find the hourly help. Is
Yeah.
the referral bonuses helping?
So the referral bonuses are helping, but we've also decided to step a little further into the bonus structure, even for hourly associates. We talk about, giving, $10 for every time somebody, the usual that everybody does, right? $10 if their name goes in a hat or
Right.
if their name goes on a review. So we've kind of stepped that a little bit up too, and we've extended it into housekeeping. We've extended it into maintenance. For every room that gets PM'd, if they hit their mark, the engineer gets $5 per room. So
Okay.
if you've got 100 rooms, you have the possibility of making $500, for hitting your quarterly.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't seem like it's a lot, but $500 over 4 quarters, you make $2,000 just for PMing your rooms, which you would normally do anyway.
right.
but
So
that's, you would hope, but for the most part, I mean, I can tell you all our hotels right now, the engineers are PM in the rooms. The rooms haven't looked any better,
yeah,
so yes, it's an extra $2,000 that, that goes into our expenses, which our ownership has been on top of it. They're like, look, if you're going to make us the money that we've budgeted here, then yeah, let's do it. I want the asset to be clean, and that's another thing that we've done is the ownership groups that we work with, they understand what we're trying to accomplish, and it's not one of those where we're trying to cut corners, and put band-aids. We're not about the band-aid. We want it fixed. We've been lucky so far. We've got some great ownership groups that have looked and said, yes, we believe what you're saying and let's get it done.
I mean, I would
So
think, yeah, and I would think that PM like actually would keep the asset fresh, and it would cause the eventual decline of a major project, right? Because
correct,
we're staying on things on a regular basis.
correct.
Uh, but yeah, that's actually really cool. So when you started Iridescent, it was like I said, we were kind of in there, and you guys did great. Is Texas business coming back? I mean,
Uh,
where's the biggest market right now you guys have that you've seen like better business?
so Texas and San Antonio has been amazing. I worked for Newcrest Image back in 2017, and I was actually the regional director of operations over that Hyatt Place in San Antonio.
Hmm.
And most we did in revenue was like $190,000. We were 94, 95 in our star index for RevPAR. And just in July we did $396,000.
Wow.
And our star index was like 140. I mean, it was crazy, and a lot of it has to just be the travel, the transient travel that's coming into San Antonio.
Hmm.
And granted, we've got a great director of sales, that she was able to bring us some great accounts that allowed us to be able to cut out a lot of the third party, and
Right.
so we were able to get higher rates. So the hotel historically did 83, $84, and we were doing $117.
Nice.
So San Antonio is a big market. We have a second hotel in San Antonio. It's a full service Holiday Inn. Same thing, $336,000, and it's only 111 keys.
Right.
So we're seeing some great things out of San Antonio. In Ohio, we've got it's a red roof. So we don't shy away from anything. We'll go economic, we'll go Hyatt Places, we'll go full service.
Right.
So we up at the red roof up there. It's only 75 keys, but it's next to the University of Dayton, and
Okay.
travel for the University of Dayton has started coming back.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of international students that come and stay at the hotel.
Hmm.
Typically a red roof does $55 to $57. We're currently selling in between 89 and 119.
Wow.
You
And it
know,
looks like it's a refreshed kind of red roof as well, like from
it
reviews
is.
and whatnot.
It
Yeah.
is. And
And I
the
mean, I
type
know
of,
in Cleveland, because I'm in Cleveland, I know people are traveling. I mean,
yeah,
they're there, right? And
yeah,
they're out and about in Ohio, and um, I know that I have friends who have been traveling, and they've been doing what they need to do. And I've been to a few different places myself, Columbus,
yeah,
Cincinnati, Vegas, Florida. So I'm
yeah.
hoping that most people get back to it. I think it's really important for them to do. But so when you take over the properties, if there are a little rundown, like it sounds to me as if you guys really kind of help them realize that there's going to be a way to make money, but they've got to kind of put money back in to make the money.
Yeah, there's a little bit more money that goes in. We're currently working on an Indiana project in Indianapolis.
Uh-huh.
The hotel right now is currently in Oyo, and the owner is actually, or the soon-to-be owner, owns the Red Roof in Ohio,
Okay.
and he's pretty much said, "Look, I want you guys to flip it. I want it to be flipped to a Hometown Studios, which is a relatively new brand for Red Roof Inn."
Right.
And we're planning on doing like a $2 million renovation on the property. So that's another piece that we bring into the fold. Is it's not only just managing the hotels, but we can also do renovations. And
Hmm.
we're getting ready. We're hoping that we'll be able to break ground in November to start a flip. And we'll start lobby, and we'll start public areas, and we'll get half the rooms in, so that hopefully within a 90 to 120-day period we can actually shut down the second half of the hotel, but do an opening with the
Hmm.
Hometown Studio brand at that point, because we'll have all public areas and, half the rooms available, so the Red Roof Inn brand has just been phenomenal.
Right.
Brina, our franchise contact has been, she gets back to us amazingly fast. George Limbert, who's the new president, he's quick. I mean, he just sent me an email today. So I mean, it's those guys are quick. I mean, Red Roof Inn brand maybe an economic, but their corporate staff is phenomenal,
Yeah.
phenomenal. I can't say.
Now I know you've got some F&B components to a lot of these hotels. How has that been affected? Is the restaurants open in the Holiday Inns, and are they kind of moving along? And what's breakfast look like in a lot of these places?
So, so we're actually in the Holiday Inns. So we've got two of them, one in San Antonio and one in Houston. And in San Antonio, we're getting ready to open it back up because we just took over that hotel at the end of June,
Okay.
and the restaurant was shut down. So we're still going the process of getting our liquor license there, but we're looking at reopening next week actually.
Okay.
But Houston has been open for some time. It's been slow during the week. On weekends, we're close to Baseball USA,
Okay.
so we get 4, 5, 6 teams here every weekend. They come and they eat in the restaurant, so it's great, but it's trying to get those groups in, during the week.
Right.
And what we've started doing is our director of sales, has been going out to some of the local businesses, marketing, our breakfast in the morning. It's $9.95, and so it's a little cheaper than a lot of other places. It's a buffet, but then we also offer out, special lunch, for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for the corporate travelers. And at this property, because full service, a lot of people are still kind of stuck on whether full service is going to work
Right.
fully after a pandemic. What we did is we decided to kind of change the dynamic a little, and we've been working more as a long-term stay. So we've got a couple of corporate accounts that we offer complimentary breakfast and dinner, and we put them in rooms that have refrigerators and microwaves. And once we did that, we literally had a 30% increase in occupancy.
Gotcha.
So food cost has been real good. We've stuck with it, and our owners are fully supportive, and that's a great thing, and our owners for this property are the same owners in San Antonio. And I'll even give a shout out, it's the Wong, Stephen Wong and Nancy Wong. They've been amazing, so we're looking forward to them. They're looking at taking on a couple more properties, so
Yep.
we're
Yeah, and I was actually at a hotel in Buffalo, and their restaurant is open, but they've limited it. It used to be a lunch restaurant; they'd have breakfast, but now due to COVID, it's only 4 to 9. So they
yeah.
limited that, but it's still a high end restaurant. It serves seafood and whatnot, and it was actually kind of funny because I actually heard a lady arguing about it with them. Well, your website says that you're open for lunch, and you're not open for lunch, and why aren't you open for lunch? And the lady's like, well, and there's no reason for explanation, but she kind of was a little bit upset about it. But it did allow, for me to see these things. It's interesting when I travel because I pay attention to other things that I've seen interviews for hourlies, and I've seen interviews for supervisors just happening in the lobby where they happen, right? And it gives me stories in my head, and it gives me, reasons to continue to travel as opposed to walking in and walking out. But yeah, no, Chris, I know you got to get on the road. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for your time. I know we've been trying to connect, and I know that people, since we're on LinkedIn, people can just find you on LinkedIn. And of course, being a top 50, influencer, I'm sure they all know who you are anyway.
I was blessed to have a relationship with Jeffrey O, from the IHI, the International Hospitality Institute, and just an amazing guy. We use all his programs in all of our hotels as well to certify our managers,
Gotcha.
So I'm lucky to know him, and he's a great influencer. He was a great mentor, when I was at Remington with him. So
Gotcha.
If anybody has any questions or anything, I'm willing to listen, whether it's hotel related, whether it's education related with the IHI. My door is always open. You can email me, call me, I'll respond.
I appreciate it. Well, you have a wonderful day, man. Be safe.
Thank you, John. Appreciate you.